you. Okay, well, welcome everyone to today's career panel. I am joined on the stage by four incredible panelists who special in either sports medicine, construction, or law. And to not waste any time, I will allow them to introduce themselves with their name, what they do, and how long they've been working in their field. So whoever wants to take it away, do you have a mic?
Good morning, everybody. Can you guys hear me well? I hope so. My name is Juan. I'm a paralegal, and I've been working as a paralegal for about 1.5 years now.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alicia Vargas, and I am a construction company, and I've been in the industry for about 15 years.
Leidheisl, I'm an athletic trainer. I've been doing this for 7 to 8 years professionally.
Hi, I'm Joaquin Eisenberg. I'm a soccer player and I've been playing for about 15 years.
Perfect. Okay. So now I want to dive in a little deeper into kind of how you ended up where you are today. I think a lot of our audience members, especially our seniors, feel like they need to know what they're going to do for their career as soon as they leave high school. And so I think you can all attest that there isn't one straight path, and there's a lot that goes into where you ended up now. So if you can walk me through how you ended up what you're doing.
Well, I grew up playing Diaz-Marquez in the Bay Area, Half Bay, and then I went to San Mateo and I got scouted to Earthquakes Academy, and I played there for a couple of years, and I made my way up through the youth teams, and eventually I was able to go to preseason with the first team when I was 17, and I had a great experience. And from there, I got moved up to the second team, and I had my first professional season last year. So that's where I'm at.
So I've been doing athletics my whole life, and I got injured multiple times, and I went to college specifically for business management, and then I had so many injuries, and the people that rehabbed me, I enjoyed what they did, and I made the switch. I played college athletics and soccer, and now I'm here.
So I have a little bit of years on these guys right here, so my career has gone many different directions. I got a degree in multimedia. I was in the web design business for a few years. I was a single mom, so I had a newborn, so that became a little bit challenging. So I became an event designer, so I still got to put my design skills to use. In that, I have a family business that was a landscape design business. So I was an assistant to the owner and followed him around for many years and learned the construction landscape industry. On top of it, worked in the office, so I learned books. And so I kind of just naturally took my design and admin skills to construction and worked for another construction company for about 5 years. And then my nephew and I just opened our own construction company back in July. So it's fairly new to be the owner, but I've been in the industry for a while, and that brings me here.
So I've been studying the law since I've been in college, and I knew after college I wanted to go to law school, but I just didn't know exactly what the best way to approach that was. So I've been involved in the community here in Half Bay with all kinds of organizations, and I reached out to someone I knew, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for an internship. You know, it doesn't have to be paid. It could be paid. I would hope so, at least, just to kind of make some money and learn at the same time. And in that moment, she called up like 3 or 4 different attorneys that she knew. She's like, hey, you know, I have this wonderful young man who's looking for an internship, or you know, is looking to get some kind of experience in the legal field. Can you help him out? So I sent my resume to 3 or 4 different law firms or attorneys. And I got lucky enough to land at HMBHS, which is the law firm I work at right now. So that's kind of how I started. You know, I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to go, but I knew if I just had the connections or, you know, reached out to people that I knew, it'd be the best way to kind of approach and, you know, broaden my opportunities for sure.
You just kind of brought up internships and taking that opportunity. Do any of you have any advice for people to get into the work field and just start taking opportunities, and how to maybe create your resume, or interview tips, just ways that they can be successful when they want to get a little more involved in what they're interested in?
So for internships, I would say definitely try to reach out to people you might already have connections with. I'm sure people that you already know, like your parents might know someone that's in the field that you're interested in, or maybe a teacher, like, hey, I'm looking for an internship, do you know anybody? Definitely network a lot. When it comes to interviews, make sure to come prepared. Bring an extra copy of your resume, because you never know if you're going to do one interview and then go on and do a second one the same day. And definitely don't be nervous, just talk to them, let them know why you're interested, let them know why you're pursuing it. Usually people are looking for genuine people in the fields, and that's all it takes really.
I would say utilize the community. If you are looking at a field that you are interested in, people love to talk about what they do. Find someone that you see, that you resonate with, that you see has an interesting career or has things about them that you want to learn more about, and reach out. Reach out to adults, reach out to, even if you're not looking for a job, if you just want to have lunch with them, if you just want to get a meeting with them. But let people talk and listen to what they're telling you, and utilize the community, because I think that as a small community, we're pretty supportive of employing our youth here and wanting to help build careers. So I would just say, reach out as much as you can.
So for internships, like they've said, we enjoy what we do in our profession and our career. So for me personally, obviously I can help you guys with athletic training, all of you. But I know people in sports medicine, surgeons, doctors, chiropractic, everything like that. So all you have to do is ask. People want to help you guys, you just need to ask. And for interviewing, it's a skill. So you're gonna mess up quite a few times, but you just need to get back on the horse and keep trying to do it. And it is intimidating, and you have to do it multiple times until you get good at it, and you stay on top of that all the time.
So for sports, it's a little bit different. You're not going to be going to an interview or anything like that, but I would say the best thing you can do is just play games, get as much as you can in, just perform in front of as many people as you can, because you never know who's watching. I think that's the best advice I could give, is you just want to get in front of people and just play as many games as possible, because there could be someone that's watching you and scouts you to another team, or reaching out to colleges. You can send emails out to colleges and get scouted there, and go to a great program that's a good fit for you, and then from there it's just up to performance, playing the best you can to see if a professional team will take a chance on you.
Great, those are awesome answers. So now, to get a better look into the work you all do, can you walk us through a typical day, and if you wish to share your favorite part of the work you engage in?
Typical day in season, what I was doing was, well, here, I'd say just last season, I'd get up at 6 a.m. and the facilities in San Jose is obviously in San Jose, so it's about an hour drive. Get there at 7 a.m., 7:30, and you just warm up. You get rolled out with the physical trainers and everything. If you have to get a massage or whatever, that's what you do. And then from there on, training starts at about 9 o'clock. So train with the team 9 to 11, and then after that, getting some extra work for the little bit you can. And then I was driving back here to school to do like 1 or 2 classes, and then after that I was going to the gym, and that's pretty much it.
So my normal day depends on what season we're in. So we can just look at the fall because that's the busiest with everyone with football and all of the major sports that are going on right there that require a lot of attention. So I wake up in the morning and I do a couple hours of work that can be admin work, clearing you guys, clearing athletes, answering emails that stack up throughout the night. And then that's when I decide to do my soap notes and notes on you guys and people that get injured to track the injuries and everything that we're doing for treatment-wise. Some athletic trainers like to do that in the afternoon while they're at work. I like to be present when I'm here. So then I usually come in midday, I get a workout in, sometimes with some of the athletes if I'm on the last period, during 6 or 7. And then after school is the busy time, setting up for games. The after school rush, people that got injured the night before aren't feeling great, everything like that. If it's a game day, we don't get back until like 10:30 or 11 at night, and then we're back here the next morning and working with you guys. Some days are easier than others. The game days and when there's multiple games and events, they are long ones.
I feel a little lazy right now. That's one thing. Okay, so we start about 5:30. Our crew's getting at 6, so we have 10-hour days. We get our crews going, and then my nephew is my work partner. He goes onto the field, and then I'm basically admin, working with the county, working with plans, working with architects, doing basically all the communications with clients and kind of the infrastructure of the business. And basically no day is really typical because it's always troubleshooting. Because we're a general contractor, it's never one thing. So it's just the tasks are, there are multiple tasks and it's every day something different. But the general day is 7 to 5 and our crews work 4 10-hour days, so we get 3-day weekends, which is really nice. And that's a typical day in construction.
So a typical day for a paralegal, it consists of looking at law into the cases that I'm working on. So I myself work on maybe over 20 cases, so I'm always looking at my emails, making sure I'm keeping up with deadlines. I'm letting the attorneys know like, hey, we got to fill out this form and submit it to the courts. I could also be talking to potential clients that we get on the phone, or maybe reaching out to clients we currently have and giving them updates on what's going on in the case. I might also be preparing to actually go into court, and I have to prepare these giant binders with documents that help the attorneys basically argue their case or our side of the story. And I think that's pretty much it, but it's mostly just a lot of reading and just staying on top and being well organized and being able to multitask and handle all these cases going on at once.
So this next question is directed a little more towards Alicia, but feel free to add anything. You are currently working in construction, which is known to be more of a male-dominated industry. So could you talk about kind of imposter syndrome that you face and how you kind of work through those hardships? And like I said, if you all have anything to add to that, feel free.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with imposter syndrome. But it's the feeling of, for instance, when I was asked to do this, I said yes, and then I was like, wait, am I a woman in construction? Not really, because the thought is that I need to be in the field, I need to be carrying a tool belt, I need to be, but the reality of it is, yes, I got a business loan and I bought, and I purchased a business, I created a business, and I am 50% owner, and it still takes a little while to resonate that, yes, I am a woman in construction, I do own a construction company, and because it's not the typical role that you see, it doesn't mean it's any less, or it's a different take on the position. That doesn't go away. I think that for you guys, or for my son who's 25, there's still a feeling of like, am I good enough to do this role of what I want to do, this career? Maybe it's a short-term thing that you've always wanted to be an artist or whatever it may be. There's always going to be a feeling that, can I be that? Will people see me as that? Nobody is really born to be something. We kind of grow into it. And so if you see a position in life or that you don't, necessarily feel comfortable, but you're kind of leaning towards it, you're interested, I would just say, go for it, because you guys are so much farther ahead too. You really have broken a lot of barriers. And so, I would say just really open up to different ideas of positions or things that maybe aren't super comfortable or known in society, and go for it and be okay with it.
I would say in sport, once you reach the higher levels and you get to places where you're uncomfortable, there's many times where you do feel imposter syndrome. You feel doubt about your ability, and I think it's a normal thing to have. There's times when in a game or in training when you see players that are better than you, you're surrounded players that are better than you, that you can feel like an imposter out there, but as you said, I think it's a pretty normal thing to live with, and as long as you persevere and keep pushing through that, you can get through it.
Okay, well, a few of you mentioned that you're working with family members, and so I wanted to give you the opportunity to share the pros and cons of that, and if you're not working with family members, maybe how to best deal with your coworkers that you might not get along with, and yeah.
Well, okay, how to best get along with your coworkers, but also how to best get along with a family member that you work with, right? So, this is a small community, and there's a lot of small businesses here, which is amazing. Pretty much when I'm in a circle of 5, 6 people, 2 or 3 of those people own their own businesses and work for themselves. So as far as, getting into an industry with a family member, it's got its pros and cons, but the big pro is that someone will really take you under their wing that you can trust. You can learn a lot. And then you gotta kind of jump, and you gotta go not work for a family member and get a different set of skills. And, I guess I'm saying that because that was my story, but really I had to just leave for a little while, and then I came back, and the things that I learned while being under my sister's wing in admin and my brother-in-law in landscape design is, they just really equipped me with a really large set of skills and tools that I wouldn't have necessarily been able to learn in the corporate world. And I was never really inclined to work in the corporate world, so it was really comfortable for me. Also being a single mom, it was easier on my schedule, it worked with my lifestyle. And it was slow, but I really did learn a lot by being in a family business.
So I'm going to talk about, dealing with coworkers that you might have issues with. So obviously, no matter where you go, no matter where you're at, there's always going to be some sort of issue, whether it's big or small. And advice I would give you is, just talk it out. You got to be more professional. Sometimes people will kind of go, behind your back or try to say stuff about you. But as long as you yourself remain professional and kind of take the situation head on and try to talk to them like, hey, you know what? I know we're having these issues. I know there's some problems with the way that we're working. But just being able to communicate and being able to voice your opinion and letting the person know what the things you got to work on are, it goes a long way because sometimes people go into work with stress from home, other stress or other things on their mind, and they're not able to perform to the best of their ability. And just by being able to talk to them and letting them know, like today, as an example, I come in and I see my coworker is super stressed out. Like, hey, is everything okay? Is there something going on? And just being able to kind of hear them out and letting them kind of voice what's going on will go a long way and can also help resolve any issues that you might have with coworkers.
Okay. So for our audience that are, the majority of all of us are in high school, can you share what the most important thing you got out of high school and how it's helped you now? Take your time, no rush. I know that's kind of a loaded question.
So it's okay to not know what you want to do at the next level. I didn't. I knew I had one thing and I wanted to play college soccer, so I went with that. And I went ahead and did business management, and I still graduated with a degree in business management, but through that time a journey will happen. And don't worry about if you're going to make a mistake about choosing a college for next year. You're choosing it for a short amount of time. It's so easy to transfer. It's so easy not to go to college nowadays and get into the trades. There are so many avenues to be successful in life. You just need to pick something and just go for it 100% of the way. Because if you just go at it halfway, you will fail, or you won't be able to look back and see if that's okay. It took me a long time to get to the point where I'm at right now with you guys and at this community. And if you would have told me that I'd be here in high school 15, 16 years ago, I would have said there's no way. So the path will work itself out, just stay the course.
Thank you. So what you were just talking about, just going 100%, that kind of takes a risk. And so can you all explain the risk you've taken and like how it paid off in the end and how you overcame that?
Yeah, I took a risk this past year in going to Europe. I decided not to go to college in this past January, and I let go of a full scholarship to a Division I school to go for my dreams and play in Europe. I played in Denmark, and the risk was leaving my family here, going to a new country on my own, being by myself, and kind of going through adversity with performances and just stuff that's a little bit more in detail that I can't go too much into with earthquakes, but there was a lot of adversity I had to go through, and taking that risk was a big thing for me. And in doing so, I found myself on the other side of it. Being by myself in Denmark, I was able to navigate through a whole new country on my own, going to trainings, playing with professional players at the highest level that have seen everything that I hope to achieve one day. And I think that's what happens when you go for a risk, when you take a risk and you go for something that you don't know that you can do, and you go for it, you find a whole new level to yourself. And that's the most important thing in taking a risk for me.
So yeah, I've taken a lot of risks, but the biggest risk I think is just leaving comfortability. So like I was saying, I was in a family business, it's very comfortable. Moving on is very difficult from a comfortable situation, but you need to grow, and if you stay somewhere too long, you really stop learning at a certain point when you're in a position. So I had to leave a full-time job that paid really well with my family to go work somewhere else. And then I came back, and then recently when I quit a very comfortable position to open my own company, was a huge risk. And it means no more salary, and it means a lot of long hours and late nights and staying up and worrying. On the other side of it, I get to be an owner. I get to have a crew. I get to now interview people and let them have a career and foster that and kind of pass on what I learned by being out in the workforce, that now I can be a really responsible business owner. So those risks pay off, but they're you know, they're scary and they're uncomfortable, and if you're uncomfortable and you're scared, then you're probably doing something right.
So a risk that I took was actually when I was still in college. It was around the time everything was opening up from COVID, when everything shut down. And I had done one season of wrestling at Skyline College, and that's when COVID hit. And I was planning to do another year at Skyline before trying to wrestle at San Francisco State, which is where I transferred to. But COVID shut everything down. And my coach at Skyline was telling me, like, hey, you know, there's a small chance there will be a wrestling season. It might be a short one, but you would have to be a full-time student at Skyline still, on top of being a full-time student at San Francisco State. So, you know, I had a really short amount of time to kind of figure that out, because I was already taking, I think, 16 units at the time at San Francisco State, and that would make another 15 at Skyline. So I decided, you know, like, even if there's a small chance just for me to be able to participate in sports again, because realistically you have a short amount of time to do things that you want to do now before you get, you know, into a more professional and later point in life. So I really wanted to wrestle. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to, you know, be the best I could be. And I took that risk, and it ended up backfiring. We didn't have a season that year. I ended up having to take all those courses, and I still managed to pass all my classes. And then, you know, the same opportunity came up again the next year. I think this is 2021 or 2022. And he said again, you know, there's a small chance, it seems like it's more impossible this year that there will be a season, and it looks like it'll be a full season, but you have to be a full-time student at Skyline, and I know you're at SF. So I still wanted to graduate on the schedule that I had set for myself. And I signed up for all those classes again. And you know, we ended up having that season, and I set goals for myself, like, okay, you know what, I want to go undefeated, I don't want to get pinned, I don't want to get tagged, which held up most of it true up until maybe the week before we went to state. I ended up having a shoulder injury that I ended up wrestling through anyway, and I went to state. And then I was able to pass all my classes again. I was able to pass my class at SF State, and I was able to walk and graduate. So, you know, like they were saying earlier, the risk is getting out of your comfort zone and just putting yourself out there. And I would just say, don't live with regrets. You know, if there's something you want to do, if there's a goal you want to achieve, just go for it.
Great. So you just brought up the topic of goals, which I wanted to cover, and more importantly, how you think goal setting is best done. So if you have any tips for that.
So for goals, I would say start small. You know, it's one thing to set something up there like really, really high. Like for example, if I wanted to be the top lawyer in all of the United States, that could be a realistic goal. I could get there at some point, but I gotta start small. You know, first I gotta be an attorney. So right now my goal is to become an attorney. From there, my next goal is to be hired by, you know, a top 20 law firm or something like that. And then from there, you know, I want to be known for like one of the hardest tried cases in all of California. Now next, I want to be, you know, one of the lawyers for one of the top tried cases in the northern side of the United States. So start small and just build it up to that final goal that you have for yourself. And that way it's a little easier, and, you know, if you fail halfway through or something doesn't go your way, at least you're not discouraged from trying to get there. Like, there's always going to be setbacks. Don't think that everything's going to go perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. There's always going to be setbacks, but know how to move on from that setback.
Yeah, I agree. Just start small, but also just have support and have steps. You know, if you've got your goal, have someone that you can call that can support you, because things don't go right most of the time, and you don't want something to go wrong and then feel like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this, or maybe this is not for me. So always have a backup and you know, and a mentor.
I think you guys should have short-term and long-term goals. It's what's taught to us when we're going through graduate school and athletic training. Just getting people back from injury. I see a lot of familiar faces out there, and I've seen you in that room. and our short-term goal is kind of just getting you kind of back to practice, or getting the pain under control, or just kind of figuring out what the idea is. And our long-term goal is what? Getting you back to play. So that should be in life too. Where do you want to be in 1 week? Where do you want to be in 1 month? Where do you want to be in 1 year, and going forward and everything like that? You guys are the only ones that can make that decision, and what you want to do with that are your choices, because you're the one that has to lay your head on the pillow at night and wonder if you gave it all that day and everything like that. So I would really sit down and see where you guys want to be. Your seniors for next year, what do you want to do? Are you guys using your time and allocating your time well enough? Are you guys on your phone and doing stuff where you guys can actually be applying, or preparing yourself for next year, looking at what your plan is? And like they said, it might not go according to plan. A lot of stuff doesn't, but at least you're in control in moving forward.
I think short-term goals are extremely important, but honestly, I think you have to make huge goals for yourself. I think you need to put something really far out there, something that's just a little bit out of reach. Just that what if that could happen. It can keep you pushing through those times that you don't know if it's possible, if you're going to be able to get through it. When these short-term goals and these small habits, these daily habits you have of every day can't get you to a place where you're at peace with yourself, having that huge goal, that milestone, that monument to just grab onto, I think is huge, and it keeps you going through whatever adversity and rough times you're inevitably going to go through. Having a big goal like that keeps you pushing.
So I know, as we talk about these bigger goals that you have in life, for me personally, I can find myself putting too much energy into some things where I can reach burnout quickly. And so could you kind of talk about how you achieve work-life balance, or attempt to at least?
I think it's presence. I think being present in your everyday life, that's the most important thing. We live a beautiful life in Half Moon Bay, and it's these small things that every day, just seeing your friends, seeing your family, being present in all those moments is extremely important. So when these goals kind of feel like they're pushing us down with their weight, it's important to just be present in this moment and understand that the only thing that can be taken away from us is this moment right now, the present. It's not the past, it's not the future. So if you're able to stick with the present, that's huge. But I do think that it's tough to have a balance if you're going for something really big, but balance isn't always 50-50, it can be 80-20. So you have to just figure out what that balance is for you.
So I've been honest with all of the athletes that have come up here, brutally honest with you guys. If you guys ask me any questions or about my profession, but my profession has a very high burnout rate. And so if you are going to go into this field, it is 1 to 2 years. So that's why we are very highly sought after. Anyone 6 years plus, that's the cap. That is, you are at the top, you've made it past the beginning, you know how to handle yourself in your life, you know how to do work-life balance. And I'm not sitting up here and saying I have perfect work-life balance, because I do not. I'm up here a lot, and I try to balance my time, and there's going to be heavy parts of the season currently, previously with the basketball teams, wrestling, and soccer teams. And then in the spring it starts to go down, and then you rest and recoup, and you have a good support system around you, and you just have to make sure you make the right decision. And if you don't make the right decision in your career, you can make a change.
I think that work-life balance comes in phases. I think that, between 20 and 30, I worked really hard. I had more time, I had less responsibilities domestically, so I think the work-life balance is in phases. It changes as you grow, as you build a family, or you get married, or whatever it is that your path is. But I would say, for the way I run my company, is that family is important. It's really important that my crew and that we that run the company always prioritize time with family. I don't believe that anyone really left this world feeling like they should have worked more. I think that family is a priority. Not to say though that, you know, back in the day, I worked, you know, 50-hour weeks and 60-hour weeks. So it'll change, but always try to keep it in check. It's important.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to what Aaron was saying, there's always going to be a fluctuation of priorities. The way you balance your life and your job is going to be different depending on what field you go into. But you also kind of have to keep that in mind when you're looking at what you want to do in life. And you have the rest of your life to be working. So the one thing I want to say when it comes to work-life balance, enjoy it. You know, just enjoy every step of the process. Enjoy every step of the journey. If there's something you want to do before you even start working, which is something that actually happens quite often now, you know, just because you graduate after high school doesn't mean you have to immediately start working. No. Or you don't have to immediately go into college. And the same thing when you graduate from college or from whatever school you go to. You don't immediately have to start working. If you want to take a break, that's fine. Work will always be there. But you being able to take that time off, you know, enjoy it with family, get to travel, do whatever you want to do, that does not wait for you. That is a one-time thing. That is a short window, and work is always going to be there. So I would just say, enjoy it to the most that you can. And definitely, you know, the balance is all on your end. Whatever you want to make, whatever you want to do, just do it.
Well, thank you for that great advice. Before we end it and turn it over to our audience to ask questions, I'd love to give you each the chance to share what the best advice you've ever received. Want to think about that, we could also turn it over and you want to do that? Yeah? Okay, so we're going to open it up to the floor. Anyone have any questions you'd like to ask, either for all of them or specifically for one of the panelists? Yes. Okay. Oh, everyone please quiet down.
So I'm just repeating in case you guys didn't hear it, but she said what's one aspect from our job that we like. Our favorite aspect of our job. For me, because I work with a lot of clients, or you know, I work with a lot of individuals. Most of my cases are like personal injury, so someone who was hurt because of someone's negligence, or you know, someone did something, they did something wrong to someone else. Whether it was intentional, unintentional, or you know, it could have been avoided, it doesn't matter. For me, it's just about being able to give back, or being able to help this person through this process. So that's the whole reason why I got into this field in the first place anyway. It's just for me to be able to help those who may not have a voice for themselves, or they're unable to find the right help. You know, they always, no matter if you need help or not, or you know, you're confused and the answer's not clear, we're just there to help whoever we can, whenever we can.
For me, it's the design and the fact that it's project based. I did events, I did web designs. It kind of always takes you in connection with a different client, and so it's constantly moving. So you feel like you're not just doing, you know, the same thing every day. You're not working on something over, you know, years and years and years. So it's constantly changing. It's always something fun. It's always a new client. It's always a new project, and we're building. There's a start and there's a finish. And it's, you know, it's constantly growing in the Bay Area as well on the coast side. So there's always new projects to be had.
So there's definitely two things that I very much enjoy about my job. The first one is that I don't know what I'm walking into every day. So I have no idea what my day looks like. I kind of have an idea if there's events, but that goes in turn to the second one, which is dealing with you guys. We get into education and working with young minds not because of the pay or anything like that. It's because we love what we do and we love working with you guys. So all of your guys' individual stories, the ups and the downs of your life, getting to see one of my athletes come back, getting to see you guys progress from some of you I've met in middle school all the way through, that's the best thing. And finding some type of passion sometimes is hard in a job, but finding any type, it will fester and it will get big, and that's what makes you happy when you go to work, because I thoroughly enjoy coming into work every day.
I just love the game, honestly. I just feel like I'm living the dream every day, so that's it.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, well, if we want to circle back to the question I asked about advice, anyone come up with anything? Want to use the mic? Yep, you got it?
Was it hard balancing school and soccer? Like coming from San Jose and then coming to class every day?
Yeah, it was difficult to balance everything, getting all my work done, and the training sessions and the games and everything. It was difficult to do that. But I think it's just what's important to you. You have to figure out what's important to you, and if soccer's important to you or your sport or whatever it is, like you'll figure out what you need to do to get it done. So.
Good question. Anyone else?
What motivates you to do what you do every day?
I think the biggest motivator for me has always been my family. I have a little sister and my mother. They definitely push me every day. Especially, it's important to have a why, like you're saying, motivation. When you don't know if you keep pushing, to have that why to bounce back on and lean on. So that's my why.
Anyone else want to answer that question?
I'll circle back to like what's good advice. We'll avoid the motivation. So I try to give you guys good advice and like life lessons and everything like that going forward, and I'm honest with you guys and real with you guys. And I think some of you, we've had these conversations because you have. I'm looking out there, some of you guys have made mistakes in high school, in your personal life, with your family, with your significant others. I know a whole lot more than I'd like to know about some of you guys. But that being said, is you guys will make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Just don't make the same mistake twice and try to learn from it. It can be something small. I teach you guys with injuries, you guys can learn something small from it in injury, and you can learn a lot from an injury. That's the same thing with life, and that is growth. And you guys need to grow constantly. You guys are young, and you guys are learning about life, and we are sequestered here on the coast a little bit. You can take it from me, you can take it from him, and then they've been outside this area, right? I grew up in California in the Bay Area, not sheltered over here because we are sheltered in a way and removed in a way, and then I went up to Montana and I've gone to different states as well. So there's a lot to do. So keep pursuing your goals.
I think the best advice I got was stop feeling sorry for yourself. We all have obstacles, financial, family, we need to work, you know, your friends go to school full time, you're going to school full time, but you're also working full time. everyone has a different set of obstacles. Everybody has a different set of doubts. Try to get out of your head. Try to just realize that there's help, there's resources, and just push past them and talk to people. Talk to either peers or talk to other family or friends and voice those obstacles. And a lot of times people will help, but don't feel like you are the only one that has this, list of things that are going to make things hard, because we all have it. So that was really good advice and kind of got me to push past a few things that were holding me back.
The only piece of advice I would give you guys is don't compare yourself to others. Right? Your journey is something that you're going to determine on your own. There is no set path that you need to follow, and it's just at your own time. If you're ready to go to the next step, then take that step, and if you're not, then don't. There is no rush. There is no, certain time frame that you need to meet, because there just isn't. It's all a process about just enjoying every single day you can. Just enjoy the moment, enjoy every single day, and just live life. That's it.
Great. Well, on behalf of everyone,
Joaquin, are you better than Danny Turgeon?
Say hi to me.
Absolutely.